Hey guys, it's Black Hulk here, coming to you with another video. So, I'm going to share with you guys why I like my deck. So, my P.E.K.K.A is really nice because it can pretty much shut down big pushes like Giant and with like Golem and stuff like that. It's really strong and it can do it pretty easily. Minions, it's helpful because it's another air troop. It's kind of like the goblins, but it's air, so it's not affected by a lot of things. It usually performs a bit better in my opinion. Prince is really nice in my opinion because with the Prince, even the bowler, it does not push it back, and it's very helpful because if I were to put like elite barbarians in the deck, it's just going to push it back all the time, every single time. It's not going to really get anything in terms of attack done on the bowler. The witch, it's awesome with the recent buff that it got, with extra damage that it does. It does not have the best in terms of range. I mean, in terms of splash radius. But all in all, it's pretty good. Valkyrie is really nice too with the Prince because with the Prince, it can charge the tower, and with the Valkyrie in front, it gives a really good buffer in terms of, say they place down a skeleton army. Well, the Valkyrie is just going to shred through that if it's in front. And if it's not in front, it'll about almost cancel out. It's not great if it's not in front, but it is better than nothing, I guess. And it's helpful because the Prince, it just pushes the Valkyrie all the way down the lane. Before that, I had a Dark Prince, which was good, but it was not as good, and pretty much I found that this is a lot more successful because if you put the Prince down behind the Valkyrie, most of that push that it does isn't really. I mean, most of the charge that the Dark Prince has, you pretty much get the exact same thing with the Prince and the Valkyrie anyway. Plus, Valkyrie is just way better than the Prince and the Dark Prince, in my opinion. Furnace is really helpful because it's a long-lasting building, and it's not really extremely long-lasting, but it deals damage over time. So even if they don't answer the Furnace, it'll tick away the tower. And if throughout the entire game you have Furnace up the entire time, and they don't ever answer to it, I have had battles where the tower just dies to Furnace, so it's really helpful. You can't always depend on it, but it's a really good card. And then also, it keeps on producing those fire spirit, the fire spirits, and they just demolish like minion horde easily. Wizard is a really good splash damage splash damage card for like minion horde and other cards similar to that have good. I mean, I personally prefer Wizard over Fireball, to be completely honest, because it does a lot more damage over time. Fireball, you just throw it down and it's going to do a given amount of damage, killing a lot of things, but like Wizard, it won't even kill. it'll almost kill it. You need another zap to actually finish the job, or something similar. But wizard on wizard, it cancels each other out, and it's a bit better in my opinion. And in the right deck, it's a really strong card. I also like the Rage a lot, because the Rage just completely gets everything out of control for the other opponent to have to deal with that. Especially in 2v2s, it's just insane what it can pull off. And it just overwhelms the opponent. And I'll show you what I mean in this battle. So I'm going to start with Furnace. Furnace is a really good card to start off with. So I'm going to do the Prince. Okay. Wait for it to get a little bit closer, and then I'll use... Okay. I'll take the tower damage, I guess. I mean, by no definition is my deck foolproof, but it definitely works for me, and I would definitely consider trying it out if you need a deck. I've been using different variations on this deck for a long period of time, and slowly been developing this deck. And in my opinion, it's extremely productive whenever I try out this deck. This is not going according to plan. Every deck has its counters. It's important to realize that and accept it. Yes, there's a point where it's like, if it has so many counters, it's just ridiculous. You might want to consider changing up the deck. Plus, usually every deck has a point where it's just not going to work as well. Every deck has a timeline. See, I even did bring it down to 667. So that was actually pretty decent for a mismatch, in my opinion. So I'm going to give it another try. See if we can pull off a win. Also, if you use a deck, I highly suggest you don't start out with P.E.K.K.A, because that's an extremely good card to be used later on. If you have a really big push that you see the other person using, and then make them regret the decision. Or counter it without too much difficulty at all. Go figure. This is another deck that my deck is not the greatest in. Just because you're at a mismatch, though, does not mean you should ever throw the match. They could play extremely terribly. In which case, you have the upper hand if you keep your cool. Let's see what they're gonna do. I'm probably just gonna play Furnace. Okay, so they pump. Great. That's just great. That's the thing I don't like about the deck either, is there is nothing to counter pump directly, which kind of sucks. Yep. As to be expected, I don't think I'm going to win this. Also, if you do lose a battle, try not to get too annoyed about the loss. That'll only prove detrimental for you later on in your future battles. Just remember, it's only a game. If you lose, it's not anything to hurt you in real life. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to make any difference at all, ultimately, in real life. Sure, it's going to feel bad when you lose a match, but that's nothing to be mad at yourself about and dwelling on the fact. It's just unproductive. Not to mention it stresses you out for no reason at all. Like that's going to change something. I know this because I've done that before, and it's just so easily avoidable, really. And you will gain wins. You will gain wins. I'd be very surprised if you don't gain wins with the deck I use, because it is extremely strong. Another thing I like about my deck is it's extremely well-rounded in terms of being defensive. I've had plenty of times where I don't win, but I bring it I bring a lot of matches to ties, which don't lose any trophies at all. That's helpful too, because then I don't have to worry about having to regain those trophies later on. Sure, I know a win is great and all, but sometimes winning is not an option. You kind of have to know when to just try to live in the game, honestly. That was good. Sometimes a good play is also to trade towers. And know when to quit. And when to switch a push to a defense. For instance, I was getting a little bit scared about that push right there, so I had to do something about it. Alright, well that's game. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon. This is Black Hulk, signing out. Later, guys.